Hey!
Hey!
We're live! Oh my God.
Right,
Yes.
to the two people that have joined us so far, for now, this is our first ever live, and to kick things off, we're going to be reviewing M Night's brand new movie Trap, and then for some reason we've bit off way more than we can chew. We're ranking all his films. We could have started small, Jenks. I don't know why
I
we've
know.
gone so big for our first video.
I know.
So we've got a full review to get through, and then we're going to rank, what is it, 15 films, I think?
Yes. And we got a comment here from our buddy Davey Deathray.
Yes!
And we've got an awesome one from the guys from the Slaughter Lamb Go Boys.
Thank you, boys.
Yes. So there's two people watching. Awesome. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. Who's that?
Ben Hardsell Davis, thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Hey, it's happening. Kicking off. 5 fans. Oh, we are like, oh yeah. Do you know what? I was going to wonder, like, do we even know we're live? But yeah, it's obvious. Cheers, Don, Keith. Hope you enjoy the live, guys. And me too. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Oh,
you,
this
Don.
is amazing. Cheers, Don. Cheers, Davey. So pumped to see you guys live. Yeah,
The
we're
man,
definitely.
Davy Deathray.
Yes. We're going to make our own fellowship of horror, aren't we? Slowly building it. Yes. Yeah. So we kick off with a Trap review. Right. We watched this. I watched it on Friday. I think you might have watched it yesterday. Is there?
Yes, Saturday. Yes, yesterday I seen it.
Yes. Do you know? I this is our first live show. I've prepped so much, but I forgot to do the one thing I prepped was do this. Was have a picture of the guy we're talking about.
Just
he
in
is.
case anyone watching doesn't know who M Night is or what he looks like.
Yeah, he looks
That
pretty
is
creepy.
M Night.
Yeah, he looks pretty dodgy, that picture.
He looks twisty.
Well, he is. Well, he loves twists. So, yeah, that's why.
Right.
Right.
Should we get on to our
Shall I
first
start?
review?
Right. Shall I start my review? Right. So, hey, do you like that? Whew, I did all this myself. Right.
Swift.
Now, I'm going to say my review by doing this. Crap.
Oh, come on, Jenks. All that prep work. Just leave it on that screen.
No, I did not enjoy this film. Okay. I thought the premise was very interesting, hence the fact I went to watch it. I liked the idea that
Wait there.
what?
I've just noticed what you've done to the poster.
Yeah. You're noticing.
Crap.
Well, it rhymes with trap.
Just leave your review there then. That's all we need to know, all right?
Yeah, right. Okay. Now I'm not as savvy with editing as you, but that's not a bad job for somebody. I can't believe you didn't notice what I did. It's not crap, okay? There's worse films, okay? We'll come to those later. But the premise is simple. He's in a concert with his little daughter, and they've set a trap. They've kind of sealed it all off because they know this serial killer. No spoilers. It's obviously in the trailer. Josh Hartnett character Spencer is a serial killer, and they've trapped him in there, and they're trying to find the killer. Now, there's a big flaw to this story. Okay, I even spotted it in the trailer. Why didn't they just check the people when they came in, rather than trapping them in with a serial killer? Now, am I wrong there? They had to check everybody with their tickets coming in. Wouldn't it be easier to check everybody on the way in so you didn't have a serial killer trapped in with a bunch of kids? Don't you agree? Or am I just on my own? No. Okay.
No.
So I like the premise, and I liked the concert. I go to a lot of concerts, as you do, and it felt like a real concert. I think it pretty much was a real concert. His daughter is played by Salika. Salika. Oops, it's a flight. Salika Shyamalan, obviously a relation to him, and she's a really good singer. She does look like a pop star. She's definitely not an actress. Definitely not. But the songs in it were very it felt real to me. But but that's where the enjoyment ended. The rest of the film I thought was crap. It was filled with coincidences, and the only way the plot went forward was everybody was stupid in it. You know, every cop was stupid. Yes, that's what I felt about it. What do you think?
Do you know what? I really enjoyed this one. I actually enjoyed it. And I went in with low expectations. Well, medium expectations. I'm a huge M Night fan, and any movie that he does do, I'll always have some sort of high expectation because I'll always give him the benefit of the doubt. He's done a lot of top class films, and it's nice to see Josh Hartnett back as a leading man. And I gotta say, he absolutely knocks this one out of the park. And the first half of this movie is top class. I agree with you in some aspects, Jenks. The cops are a bit stupid, and he does agree with too much,
A bit.
but it's to show how genius this guy is, and that's why the first half is so good, because the whole time he's inside that concert trying to get out, you can see his cogs turning, and he tries something, it doesn't work out, he doesn't panic, he goes to the next thing, he tries it, that doesn't work out, and the film carries on. And the first half I absolutely loved. I was there for it. It's one of the best openings ever. Well, first halves of a movie ever, not just opening. And then it starts to fall apart in the second half. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail. I don't want to spoil anything. But once they get out of the concert, or the movie moves away from the concert, it does slowly start to fall apart. And this was on to a high star ranking for me. But as the film went on, I'd say 50 minutes plus, it slowly started to drop for me. But I'm not that fussy. And
No
I can
shit.
forgive I can forgive a poor ending if the start of the movie, and it's not just
Yeah.
the start, there's a good solid hour of this movie that's set inside the concert, and it is top class. The only downside to the start of the movie is the dialogue is something that M. Night
Oh, I
hasn't
know.
really done great in a lot of films.
Yeah.
The dialogue's a bit silly. I know Josh Hartnett is trying to play this cheesy, lovable dad,
Yeah.
but a lot of it feels wooden, and I just feel like the lines weren't believable. Like they had read the script and they've just
Yeah.
phoned the lines in because they just didn't feel
Do you
like
know?
lines people would actually say.
Do you know the bit, right? So again, no spoilers in this, obviously, because it's very new. There might be a few spoilers in the other films we're going to do, but he steals a police radio and puts the earpiece in his ear so he can listen to what's going on. So every time he puts the earpiece in, he's getting the perfect piece of exposition. As he puts it in, this killer will be looking for an exit, and they're like, "Oh, really?" In reality, we put it in and
Well,
going,
it's
he'd be like, put
the
it in and
fire
going
alarm,
like.
innit?
No, they'll put it in a year and reality be like, fancy a coffee, Di? Ah, go on then. It wouldn't be just perfect information.
No, I know, because there's obviously a bit where he's just about to push the fire alarm lever, and he puts the earpiece in,
Yeah.
and the woman says, he will try to cause panic. He will
Yes.
cause a
And
fire alarm.
but also, how does she know that he knew by that point? He only randomly asked that guy selling T-shirts. She seemed to know he's trying to mess things up. It's like, for all she knows, he's just watching the concert.
Yeah, but you know what, Jenks? It is a film, right? And it needs to move forward, and it needs to run a sort of narrative throughout this. So that's got to
Yes.
happen. You've
No, no,
just got
no,
to
no, no.
accept that films need to do that to
No,
keep
no.
the story going forward.
If it's a good script and a good script writer, you'll be able to work those things in. Unfortunately, a script is only as smart as the writer, and M Night Shyamalan is a brilliant elevator pitcher. I got a great premise. I love it, and he needs to work with other writers to flesh out these brilliant ideas he has. That's what I think, because I think he's a genius, but he's too stubborn with his work. He's not good at writing dialogue. It's terrible.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it was nice to see his big comeback. Obviously, he had that
Yes.
dip in the middle of his career. And I think he might slowly be losing credibility
Yes.
again.
Yes, definitely.
This one has been slated online. His last two movies, this one hasn't made a bank yet.
Nope. It
And
won't.
Knock at the Cabin didn't make bank.
Nope.
And I think he signed a 4-picture deal with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And I think he's done two with Warner Brothers. So he's at least got 2 more movies, but I am hoping he hasn't kind of pissed on his chips here.
So I'll say 2 more things about it before we move on, right? One, there's a bit in it, right? Again, I promise not a spoiler. He's finding out information, the key things the police are looking for the killer, because they don't really know what he looks like. They got a couple of clues. And they said about a tattoo on his wrist, right? And he goes, and you see his tattoo of an animal, I can't remember now. And he's looking around thinking, what am I going to do? And he goes to the floor, he finds like a bag or something. I thought, oh, he's found a makeup kit, like to put some foundation on his wrist to hide it. No, he puts a snap band on it. It's like, as if a cop's not going to go, sir, do you mind taking off your... You might as well put a watch over it if it's that of like, oh, hang on, I can't check your wrist. You've got a snap band on it. No one of those things you go, Kimp.
Do you know what was crazy than that? This was my biggest problem with the film, right? And I'm talking about health and safety here, right? And the lives of people. There's a bit where they're standing watching the show, and it's the
stairs.
Yeah, when Kid Cudi comes into the film.
Yes.
There's just a massive hole in the floor that opens up. There's no barriers around it. There's no warning or guards. It opens up, right? And then he exits. And then I was watching it. I was like, it's still open. But it's still open.
And also, but the thing that bugged me the dialogue at the end. I'd love to give some spoilers, but I won't. But it just goes on and on and on, and I'm like, oh, finish for fuck's sake! I was waiting for a twist. I didn't feel like this film needed a twist, but I thought, are they building up for a twist? But it just went. Oh, it's about 5 endings. Oh my god, it's painful. Yeah.
Right, that's that then. Jenks, right. How many stars are we giving this one?
Oh, I give it a whopping 2 stars. 1 star for the premise, 2 stars for seeing Josh Hartnett in pain, having to read this horse shit. You just feel like, what the fuck is this?
I'm giving this one a solid 3 stars. If you look at my letterbox, it'll be a 3.5. It's almost a 4 stars, but like I said, it does drop off a cliff towards the ending. It was so close to greatness, but unfortunately, it unravels in the second half.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we move on, I'll read a few comments. You got Davey again, top man. He looks a little worried about the film crew there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. This is your...
Terrified, Davey.
Yeah, this is your mum.
Yay! All right, Jill.
Yeah, on it. We got another fan. Don, loving the crap. I even chuckled. Oh, thanks, Don.
It's not funny, Don. Come on. Don't egg him on. Don't egg him on.
Oh, sorry. And we got your brother again.
What's wrong with my face? Huh? There's nothing wrong with my face.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Chunky Jolly.
Hey.
Brilliant.
I just want to say, Chunky Jolly, thank you so much. You've literally been commenting on our videos from the very start, and you've been consistent. Thank you for the support. You've been awesome.
This is my wife. This is what she says. The film was completely ridiculous.
Of course.
Now you know my wife. She would never stick up for me. She don't give a shit. She got a completely. And if she liked this, she'd actually like the watched. We watched the other day. M Night Shyamalan's daughter film. She actually enjoyed it.
And you didn't like this. Our credibility is out the window.
Yeah. We got Haley Jones. I think we need to give this a watch, Ben. Yeah.
Definitely give it a watch.
There's a few more here. Yeah, there's a lot of love tonight. Brilliant. Snuggle some.
More love for Davey Death Ray.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Don't care what people say about the end. I'm intrigued, especially as I'd have to know if my dad was doing stuff like this, especially as a teen. It reminds you of you, Kurt, as a teen. Yeah, brilliant. Right. So, moving on. This guy ranking his movies. Do you want to kick it off? So we're basically we've ranked all 14. He did a film called Wide Awake, before Sixth Sense. I think most of people don't give a shit about anything before Sixth Sense. Yeah. So obviously, I think he made about 2 films before it. If you look on Wikipedia, let's pretend they didn't happen. Nobody gives a shit. So do you want to kick it off with your choice? The worst M Night Shyamalan movie.
The worst one, right? So the worst M Night Shyamalan movie is The Last Airbender.
Airbender.
I have not seen this one since it came out. I can't say too much on it, but I was a fan of the cartoon growing up. I was that right age. And I was excited for this one when it came out. Awesome. And it's just a pile of, I'm not going to swear, but it's garbage. This was a movie that M. Night, I think he was just hired to do. He was on his way out to Hollywood, and I think he just wanted to be an active director. And unfortunately, he picked this one out of the bag, and it just falls absolutely on his face. And it's by far the worst movie he's done. Easily.
Yes, oddly enough, this was my number 14. Now,
Oh, what a
I
shock.
this film, okay, it's hard for me to really review this. I almost wish I didn't have to include it because it didn't feel like a Shyamalan film. Like you said, it
Yeah,
feels
of
like he was
course.
hired. He needed to get back in the studios, good books. The title's not even the correct title because of Avatar. For obvious reasons, they had to change it. But yeah, it's not an M Night Shyamalan film. It's a bit like if we were reviewing Guy Ritchie films and we've got to review like Aladdin, it doesn't feel like part of his catalogue. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what Guy
Yeah, yeah,
Ritchie did
yeah,
that,
yeah,
didn't it?
yeah.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, of course, of
So
course. He like
yes,
silently did there. Like no one
yeah,
knows he directed that
yeah.
film.
I think he did that for the paycheck so he could fund probably The Gentleman back to what he loved doing, I think.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah,
done about 5 movies
yeah.
of his own movies since.
Yeah, should we talk about Guy Ritchie instead?
Have you got the presentation set up for Guy Ritchie?
I have. I got an emergency one. Right. Should I do mine? No, you do your next choice. It's fine.
There we are. Again, this one doesn't feel like an M Night movie. It's another movie. I think he just done. This is a movie that Will Smith basically directed. I think he strong armed his way basically into like a co-director chair. He got his son on board, and it was basically like a jumping platform for his son to become a big star. And again, it's just a movie that falls flat on his face. It doesn't feel like an M Night movie. I
No.
haven't said the title. You can see it is After Earth. And again, I was excited for this one. Will Smith's a great action star.
Yeah.
It's got a great premise. Now there are some cool things in this movie, but it's just a massive CGI fest. The biggest star in the movie is injured on a plane the whole film, and it's just a platform for Jaden Smith to become a big star, and he goes off into the world.
Yeah.
And
I know you've got like, you've got sort of the biggest star in the world, and he's not in it.
yeah, I know
And
exactly.
and
He's on the poster, like.
yeah, and you know what? Like all M Night Shyamalan movies, and I mean all apart from Wide Awake. I don't know anything about that. Every single premise is like, oh, that's interesting. So got a great title. After Earth is a great title. Everything on Earth is kind of evolved to attack humans. All good elevator pitches, but yeah, falls on his flat on his ass. Right, my next pick, my second worst film he's done, is Glass.
Are you mental?
Now, Glass, okay, really hurt me. It really hurt. Now, scientifically, it might not be as bad as some, right? But I hated this film. I hated what they did to Split. This is the problem, right? Unbreakable was a great movie, okay, and it could easily have a sequel, right? It didn't need a sequel, but it was the type of movie that you could expand. Obviously, Split was not a film that needed a sequel. It was a one-off film. So merging them, so they messed up. So it was felt like more like a Split sequel and a half-baked Unbreakable sequel. And I can give spoilers. Obviously, it's an old film now, right? But it was just such a shit premise when they're all in like a mental asylum, and this woman studies people who think they're superheroes. What university is teaching that? It's ridiculous. But the thing that's unforgivable about this film is the ending, right? Where they kill Bruce Willis in a puddle. He drowned him in a puddle. That's the most unflattering death of a fucking superhero ever. I hated this film and it bugged me. Yeah.
Jenks, that is the hottest take I've ever seen in my life. Last but one, Glass. You think Glass is worse than Lady in the Water or The Happening?
Yeah, it is. Look,
Oh my god.
Eve.
Do you know when you just picked that? 7 people dropped off our live. Let's read some comments.
Right,
I
okay. Look, Haley Jones agrees with me. Look. Uh right.
absolutely loved Glass.
What about any love for what about Geordie? Not seeing Glass or Split, but I love Unbreakable. Well, that's definitely sticking up for me. Wendy, Palfrey. I was just about to say the name. Very clever movie. Yeah,
It is a very
awesome.
clever movie.
Do you think we should have these comments running whilst we talking? What do you reckon? Or
Yeah,
just
go on. Yeah,
I think
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're talking about films and we're moving on. They want to clutter the screen. Hey, there we are. That's better. It's only fair. Oh, we're a bit small now, aren't we? No, maybe not. We'll do it one by one. Forget that. We're new to this. Yeah, as you can tell.
The hottest take I've ever seen, Jenks. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
I don't think
I wasn't expecting that.
listen, I think we're such a shambles. I don't think Davy Deathray is going to want to join our feed. I think this is like, I think we're like the canary down the coal mine. He's like, yeah, I think I'll leave it. Right. What's your next pick then? Your 12th favorite.
12th favorite. All
Yeah.
right, let me have a look. Right, so next I've got The Happening, and what I will say about this one is Mark Wahlberg playing a professor of plants is just so unbelievable. And again, same as you've said, Jenks, about a lot of his films. They're great elevator pictures. Now it's a great premise. But oh my God, again, I can't say too much about this one. I remember hating it. I can't remember too much about it. I have actually started rewatching all his films, but I haven't had a chance to watch them all.
Yeah.
But I remember even when I was young watching this one, and I was like, oh my God, it just doesn't work and it doesn't feel like an actual movie. And I think one of the worst casting decisions ever in Mark Wahlberg for this film.
Do you know what? I realised I shouldn't be talking about this film till I pick it later. So I'll move on to the next pick. My 12th one makes more sense, innit? My 12th one is After Earth.
Better than Glass.
It's not better than Glass. I was offended by Glass because they took something I really loved, Unbreakable, and fucked it up. It's not just about the film for me. It's about what they do to it. There's loads of films worse than Glass, but I wasn't offended by After Earth. I just thought, it was just a sci-fi that I forgot about. It's not the worst film ever made. It's just like a forgettable movie, you know. I don't remember when I was making a list of things to talk about. I only thought about what you said of like taking Will Smith, the most charismatic actor in the world, and chucking him away. He's got broken legs, but that's the only thing I hated. But there's loads of plot holes and stuff. But I wasn't offended. Glass irritated me, you know. I'm getting irritated again. It came out 5 years ago. Your fault.
Calm down, Jenks.
Yeah,
calm
right.
down.
Let me just read a few more of these. I know I need to be on the ball. I love The Village, not so much. Kate Dawn. I love The Village, not so much the ending. Sixth Sense was cool. Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, loved them. But the end of Glass was sad. Sad in a good way or a bad way. James McAvoy does a fantastic job. He always does. He hadn't made a bad film.
Well, Glass.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I have a laugh. Have a laugh with Happening. Yeah, damn right. And we got Chunky Geordie. I talk to plants. They're just not plastic. Right then, it's your pick. Number 11 on your list, buddy.
Right, we have got Lady in the Water. Now, this is when M Night started to slowly drop off. This was the movie he did after The Village, I want to say, Jenks.
Yes, it was.
Came out just after The Village, and this is when he started to drop off. Once Upon a Time, I enjoyed this movie. It's quite a fun, enjoyable, fairy tale-like film, and there's a lot of stuff in there to like. Now, I don't hate this film, but it is quite forgettable. I've watched it as an adult, and the biggest thing that bothers me about this film is how vain M Night is, and it's basically about Paul Giamatti lives in this apartment complex. It's more like a motel type setup, you know.
Yes.
And there's a pool, and there's a mermaid. I think she's a mermaid, yeah.
And something like that. It's not quite.
I'm not going to go.
Like
I don't want to go too much into the plot, right? But they've basically got to save her, right? And there's this thing written into it that they need to find this master writer, the best writer in the world, to solve this, right? And who plays the greatest writer in the world in the film? None other than M Night.
Yeah, it's so self-indulgent.
Yes, I know, way too self-indulgent.
That was this film was the moment, though, where he was doing little cameos, little nods to the fact he's a director, and he's pushing himself into these movies too much, and it's becoming distracting because he's a very well-known director. You know, some directors don't know what they look like. Everybody knows M Night Shyamalan, same as Tarantino's guilty of it. Too many cameos. You don't like Alfred Hitchcock used to have subtle ones, and even like what's his
Just
name?
his shadow sometimes.
Yeah.
Hitchcock,
I tell you what does a really good cameo is
or his cigar smoke.
what's his name? Who did Joker and Hangover? I forgot his name now.
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Now he's got a great cameo. He plays a different person. He's not.
He knocks the door in Old School, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's
he's
a
in,
pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, he plays the same character in all his films, like this, like deadbeat sort of guy. But yeah, it's too distracting. Right, where were we? Right, my next pick. Where are we now? So what was the last one I said? All right, so the next one for me was The Happening.
Okay.
Now, the thing about this film, it's a piece of shit. Okay, but there's a but. I've seen it about 3 times. Okay, it's got a fantastic opening scene. It's got, it's one at the time I watched it, I loved the opening scene. I thought, oh, this is right up my street. Everybody's killing themselves, and people joke about the opening scene as naff. I didn't think it was naff. I thought it was the best bit of the film, when all the builders are jumping off the building, and it's great. But then, in a story, okay, you got one chance, okay, to know when you've got like lots of things happening to strangers, like people getting killed at the start. You only have one chance to do that at the start. Once you got your main characters in, everything that happens has to happen to them, not strangers. And he kept on inserting these moments where, hey, have a look at this, look on the screen, look what's happening in the zoo. To some, it's like they got nothing to do with the plot. You've done that now. You've done all the deaths. You can't keep on inserting them. And they inserted this stupid bit where they realized the wind was the only way to like show like the pollen after them or something, right? They were running away from wind in the field. And then you've got like this. I think he's right in thinking, this is not exciting. Let's put him in a house with a crazy lady that's got nothing to do with the plants. Let's just add another level of tension. And it's just fucking crap. But I've seen it 3 or 4 times. And I do fancy Zoe Deschanel with his massive eyes.
Deschanel.
Is that her name?
The worst pronouncer ever, Deschanel, yeah, or whatever.
Yeah,
Doesn't
who cares?
matter.
Who cares? I don't care.
I care, right?
Right, what's your next pick, buddy?
Next for me, right, they're starting to get in the better territory now. And these are ones I like a little bit more than the ones I've already spoken about. But next, I've got The Village. Now, not the worst film ever made. It is a really good folklore horror movie. It's got great suspense. It's got great mystery. I love movies set in these small towns in weird places. You got Joaquin Phoenix in there. He's great, as he always is. And I just love the mystery of this one. And it feels like an M Night film. It feels like it was done by the same guy who had done Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs. It had his stamp. But the second half of this movie, again, similar to Trap, it just falls off a cliff. And I was so disappointed in the ending of this film. So disappointed. I've never gone back and watched it twice. But I remember a lot about it because I was so invested in this film. And, oh my God, I was so disappointed. But I've got The Village here.
Yeah. Well, you got The Village what? You got it on DVD?
I haven't got a DVD, no. I've got it here. This spot.
Right. I thought you bought it especially for this live feed.
Limited edition 4K, like.
Right. My next one down the list is Lady in the Water. Now,
better than Glass?
Again, it's probably not better than Glass, but I'm getting that mad again now. You're just getting a rise on me. Right. When I would say this cover is absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's an absolute.
It's a bit messy though. There's a bit too much going on for my liking.
I don't know. As covers go, it's incredible. Anyway, I give it 1 star for the cover. Now it's a silly film. There's one guy with one muscular arm. He's been just working one side. I can't remember the guy's name. He's quite famous, but it's not the worst film in the world. It's just after The Village, and then this came out. I just thought, oh, he didn't recover after The Village. He's gone down another step down, because everyone's allowed a duff movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And The Village wasn't exactly a major duff. It was just like a big step down. But you know, but then he took another step down, and he kept going down into the basement. M Night,
get up here!
What? I'm not coming up. Let's read a couple more of these. Do you want to read some, Kurt? I'm not very good at reading out loud.
Sad about Glass because they could have given, as you said, a better death scene for Bruce than just a puddle. Surely they could have come up with something better. I know a puddle there. Yeah, absolutely
Yes.
agree. I'm not arguing on that point. It is a silly death, but what it is kryptonite.
At least have him and like a massive like Tony Stark death where he drowns to save like some orphans or something, not just like in a puddle. Do you know what? It's ridiculous. You're getting me riled up again. Right, your pick next, Kurt.
Right, 2 seconds. Where are we? I've just done The Village. And I've got Old. I don't know what the number is now, but I've got them in a list. So
Do you know what? Next time we do this, I think we should have nice, neat numbers and have 2 separate ones because it's a bit messy.
Hey,
but bear with us.
You set it up, boy. You set it up.
I know. I don't think it matters.
I had nothing to do with this one. I took a day off for this one and let Jenks
Gotta learn
do
on
some work for once.
Got to learn on the job, yeah.
Got to start pulling your weight, pal. You got to start pulling your weight.
Come on, then.
Right. All right. So we've got Old. Again, a fantastic concept. I know this one isn't an original M Night movie. It's based on a graphic novel, but
Called Sandcastle. Did a bit of research.
Sandcastle.
Proud of me.
Nice. For once. Usually coming unprepared. Right.
Googled it and everything.
Old is basically about a group. Well, you've got multiple groups of people. They end up on this beach, and what happens is it's a special beach, and they start aging rapidly. There's kids on the beach that start growing up. They go into a cave. They come out as teenagers, which leads to a really unsettling scene that I do not enjoy one bit. I will go into that one. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but there is one scene I wanted to go into. But again, right, it's got a great premise. Like I said, you've got all these people on the beach, they're aging, and then you've got all these array of characters all bouncing off each other. And there's some really cool concepts with this aging, because one guy, he gets stabbed, and because the aging factor is so quick, you've got the sepsis seeping in, and it just takes over his body instantly. The two teenagers, like I said, they come out, they go into a cave and they come back out, and then they have a baby. They were just kids. It's crazy. And it's such an unsettling scene to see. But again, this movie starts to fall apart in the second half. I wish M. Night would just hire someone after he's done the first half of the movie.
That's a good idea.
Do half of the film and then say, right, my shift's over, get the night shift in, and then you can finish the second half of this movie.
Like you did there, Night Shift.
Night Shift.
Yeah, M Night Shyamalan. Right. Do you know, again, it's a good cover. It's a great cover, isn't it?
Yes, very silly ending, Wendy. Definitely.
Right then. So next on my list is, hang on, where are we? Is Old. Yeah, I felt the same about this. It's a great premise. I know it's not completely his premise, but I'm always intrigued, and I tend to keep giving him a chance, but I keep getting disappointed. Just some terrible dialogue. I don't think he lives with humans because he doesn't write human dialogue. And it's strange because The Sixth Sense has really powerful moments, especially with the kid Cole and stuff. And it's just, he's forgotten how to write good dialogue. And I just wish, like, if I saw a film where it said story, like Devil, for example. We watched it the other day, Devil. He wrote it was based on his story, and it's a brilliant film. Somebody else wrote the script, somebody else directed it, and it was excellent. And I just wish that he would just give his premises to somebody. I don't mind if he directs them, but just work with somebody to flesh out these brilliant ideas he has.
Do you think he's getting caught up with the ending of his movies, like the twists? Like, I feel like he's a guy that can come up with a concept for how a twist would be and then work the script around that twist. And I think he's getting too excited for that. Maybe, I don't know.
You're right. He's like reverse engineering his stories. He has a
like
good
there was this film that was released called Shark Side of the Moon, where there's sharks on the moon. Now, they absolutely came up with that title first. Someone went, oh, do you know what would be a great title?
Yeah,
Shark
yeah.
Side of the Moon. And they worked around it.
Yes, that's what he
Do you know what I
does.
mean? There's like
Yeah,
those
yeah.
films that engineer around a certain plot point, you
Yeah,
know?
like a film called Piranaconda. Now I'm almost positive the title came first. What are we going to call this film? We spliced the anaconda with a piranha. That's a tough one.
Sharktopus.
Sharktopus. Right. So your next one, then, buddy. We're going into the good films now. I think we're coming in.
The good
Haley
films.
Jones. Haley. Let me just read a couple of these quick. Haley Jones. I slept through it, so I can't comment on it.
Don't blame you, Haley.
Davey, Rob Zombie, and M Night both need to hire someone to help them write. Yes.
Yes. 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
How great was Rob Zombie at the start of his career?
What? With
Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses are amazing.
I wouldn't go that far.
You know I love Devil's Rejects. It's a class film. It's a great sequel. And it's got one of the best endings ever.
I don't think he's
Freebird, Leonard Skinner, when they're driving towards those cops and they're firing at them. It's epic.
I don't think he should be making films, Rob Zombie. But if he's watching this, I'm sure he is, don't kill us.
Well, I don't wish a man to be out of work, all right? I want the man to make money.
Yes, I think he's going to get threatened by our fame, by all these comments, by your comments by your mother again.
Loved the old film. Thank you very much. I got some support.
Can you read a few of these, Kurt?
Loved Unbreakable, but never watched the follow-on. Unbreakable is amazing. I would definitely recommend watching both follow-ons.
Yeah. Cheers, Stephen John. You read this one again as well.
Would be my choice as M Night's best film. I can't argue with you. But you will see our top 3 very soon.
Yeah. Cheers, Davy Dread. Yeah, great name.
Unbreakable is amazing.
Paul Henry. Boy. Thank you, pal.
Hello, boy.
Awesome.
Zombie Buzz. Yes,
nice.
Another one, Ben. Another one.
Nice. Checky Geordie. Only seen Dead Meets Unalive count. What? Only seen Dead Meets Unalive count, but old has a great premise, and it's a lot of people's worst fear. What is that a film?
Dead Meat is a YouTube channel, and they do kill counts. I think if that's what she means. Yeah, they do a kill count.
I see.
They're great.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. Whose goes there? Mine.
No. Yeah. You've just got class this far down.
Short turn. No, short turn. I said old.
Right. Yes. No. I know. I was just.
Why is it gone class? Why is class?
Because it's my pick.
All right. Go on then.
Right.
Nasty.
I do have this one at this spot. Nasty. Right. So all the movies that we have talked about so far, at least the ones that I've spoke about, Glass is 1,000,000 times better than these movies. And it's a good movie in the trilogy. Now, it is the weakest of the 3. And I do agree with you. Bruce Willis's death is ridiculous. But come on, Jenks, it's a good film. I loved Split, and it was great to see these 3 characters together. I think this movie is absolutely slept on. I have seen a lot of great stuff about this film. I thought everyone hated it, but I think a lot of people are coming around to it. You may all disagree with me in the comments, but I watched it. It didn't blow me away. It's nowhere near as good as Split, and it's definitely nowhere near as good as Unbreakable, but it's a really good third entry in a franchise, and I loved seeing these 3 characters together.
I think he
absolutely.
I think he funded it himself. I'm sure out of his pocket, and I don't even know whether it made bank or not. I didn't.
No, I think it did all right, mind. I think it was just the reviews.
Right, my next.
Yes, Abigail Palfrey.
She's wrong. Who is that crazy? Who is that crazy lady? Hang on. I tell you what. Off.
If the hate does. Oh, we've got some hate in the comments here, Jenks.
Right, come on.
Another 6 people have just dropped off.
Right, where are we now? So, my next one down the list is Knock at the Cabin.
Nice, I enjoyed this one. We watched this together.
Now, I was very confused because I was looking for this poster and I kept on coming up short and I kept on typing in Knock on the Cabin. And it's like, wait, I'm sure it exists. Have I gotten it mental? And then I just read, oh no, Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, because
Right.
sometimes I type in cabin in the woods. It's too similar.
Yeah. This was a good film. We watched this together.
Yeah.
It was quite forgettable, but it was enjoyable. I don't remember the dialogue being particularly bad in this. If it was, I didn't notice as much. I think the only flaw to this that I can remember was it felt like an hour-long episode of like an anthology story stretched over hour and a half, 2 hours. I felt like, the premise was interesting, but not movie level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
I
of
really got to
course.
say about it. It's quite an inoffensive movie, one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a
100%
safer
agree with
one,
you.
I think, of his films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Your next
Next,
pick, bud?
I've got Trap. I think again, it's a lot better than all the ones we've already spoken about. Obviously, I'm not going to delve in too much on this one. We have already spoke about this movie, so I'll leave that one up there, and we'll read some comments on this one.
Yes. So try.
Don't
Yeah.
forget of the second was agreed. Weakest one of the series. Covert Legend. Thank you for the
Thank you,
comment,
pal.
pal. Agree with you.
Right. So my next on my list is
Yes,
what?
The Visit. I'm reading the
Uh,
comments. The Visit
is
really got under my skin.
is the visit under the visit the village again, this is definitely not a piece of shit. It's just a
No,
piece of
it's not.
shit. It's just a piece of shit compared to his first three movies. And I remember when after the first three films came out, when Signs came out and it was well received, I remember M Night Shyamalan was on the cover of a magazine and there was a quote, the next Spielberg question mark, and I remember saying to somebody, yeah,
That
but
hurts.
after those three films, I thought, you know what, this guy, if he keeps going, he is going to be something like amazing. And The Village came out, and again, we keep saying this all the time. It's a recurring theme. The premise is fantastic. Such a
It's
hook.
so good.
You've got this village, and they've got in the middle of, and there's woods surrounding it, and they've got like a treaty with creatures. You're not allowed to go in the woods, and they leave you alone if you leave them alone. And it's perfectly fine. The monsters look quite creepy when you see them with like porcupine weird monsters, and
The
then you
yellow
find
coat.
out the twist. And
Are
if
we
you
going to
have,
say the twist?
are we allowed? No, it's pretty old. Mine's like 25 years old.
No, I that's what I'm asking. Like, are we just going to say the twist?
Okay, we're going to say the twist. So if you don't want to hear it, switch off for 2 minutes. It's basically it's meant to be in the past, and it's actually in the present. They live in a life like it's the
In a
16.
fictional, made
Yeah,
up
in the
fictional town.
1600s, 1700s, I'm not sure. But and there's a blind girl, and the monsters are just the elders who dress up to keep the people living in that area because they all had horrible times in the real world and they wanted to live a simple life. Fine, good twist. And then they need medicine for somebody, and they send out the blind girl. I think why didn't one of the elders go, the ones who know the secret? The blind girl's in the woods like falling down a ditch probably. Like, it's ridiculous. And then there's a bit, right, when you reveals the twist, when she climbs over the wall and you see a car pass, thinking, oh, it's the present time. And that first thing I thought was, hey, what about planes passing? And as I thought it, M Night Shyamalan's in it as like a security guard or something. He goes, and he just happens to mention, yeah, they stopped planes coming around this part because of such and such. I thought, oh, that's such bad exposition at perfect time. It's so shit, like, yeah. But it's not the worst film in the world.
No, it's not. No.
It's just it's a big step down, Right, what's your pick, buddy?
Right, I've got Knock at the Cabin. I really enjoyed this film. Like you said, I'm not going to say it's forgettable. I remember everything about the movie, but it was just good enough to be an enjoyable watch. Dave Bautista is great in it. Rupert Grint is fantastic. And it's got a really good premise. You've got this couple who are staying in a cabin for a few days with their daughter. And the four horsemen of the apocalypse turn up at their cabin and tell them that one of them needs to die or the apocalypse will happen. And then you've got this great tension and chemistry throughout the film. They're all stuck in this cabin. It's a pressure cooker. And again, I've said this many times on the podcast, I love one location movies. So this one drew me right in. And when I watched this one, I was like, M Night's back. but I didn't think it stood up to his earlier films. But it's a really good film. I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah, I could easily watch it again. Again, it's forgettable but
You know
enjoyable.
what? I just love Dave Bautista. He's got a great screen presence. Always
Yeah,
fun to watch.
you know what? He's a good actor, and he doesn't really.
Yes.
What's good about this is that he plays a guy that doesn't really need to be a big guy. He just, I suppose, he does in a way that you feel like he's a threat, but really, his character isn't a
Yeah,
threat.
because because he's not a threat at all, is he? Like he's the most caring in there. Rupert Grint is 10 times scarier than
Yeah.
Dave Bautista is in this film.
Yeah, he's quite good in it,
Absolutely
actually,
love
isn't he,
Knock on the
Rupert Grint?
Cabin. Dave's fantastic. Rupert Grint's fantastic in this film.
Yeah, I know.
Even Legend in his crap.
Right.
Agreed, yeah.
Right. Next on my list is, you'll probably be glad of this, Split. Now, I don't love this film by any means. But it's an enjoyable film, and it's clearly a return to form. He's kind of crawling out of the basement slowly. His head's poking up like Evil Dead 2. You know? So it is a good film. It's got its flaws. James McAvoy is good in it. He's a bit over the top in some bits. But I did like it. I think I've only seen it once. I didn't love it, and I didn't really need a sequel. But
Yeah.
it was a decent film, and I felt like, oh, thank goodness, M Night Shyamalan's on his way back. And what was the film he did after this? Now, it wasn't Glass, was it?
I think so, yeah.
Was it? Well, anyway, this was a good
Yeah.
film, and I always wondered though. Do you know when he turns into a kid? He's got multiple
Hedwig.
personality. Yeah. Why did they just kick him in the face, those girls, and then run away? Because he's got no weapons. He ain't got a gun. He could just say, "Oh, he's a kid. We can beat him up," because he was physically like a kid. So I don't
Yeah, of
understand.
course.
And the three girls, the cheerleaders, were clearly like quite feisty, when they weren't like really timid,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I'm nitpicking. It's a decent film. It's very inoffensive. Yes. What's
Another
your
hot
next
take
pick?
there. Right. So next, I've got The Visit. Now, I am a huge fan of this film. I love found footage movies, and this to me was M Night coming back. This was after he had done After Earth and a few. I think it was After Earth. I might be wrong, but I was a bit done with M Night. I thought he was gone, and I loved his early films. And then he comes out with this film. He started funding this movie himself. I think he maxed out a few credit cards, and then Blumhouse got on board and helped him fund the movie. And this is a fantastic film. It's got a great twist, but it doesn't rely on that twist. It's a really good, creepy found footage film. It's basically about these two teenagers, younger than teenagers. They go to stay with their grandparents for the weekend. They've never met their grandparents. They've never seen a photo of them. They don't know what they look like. And they're basically in the house with their grandparents over the weekend, and they start acting strange. I am not going to give the twist for this movie away because it's still quite new, and I think a lot of people might not have seen this one. But if you like found footage movies, if you like horror movies, and you like M Night, this was an absolute turn to form from M Night.
Good man. Right. What's my next one on my list then?
Thank you so much, Davey. Legend. Thank you, pal.
Right. Next on my list is The Visit. now we're getting like the same basically in the last five. I agree with everything you said. It's a really good film. I love found footage as well. I thought the granny and the grandpa was really creepy. I thought the kids were good, and the twist. I'm not going to say the twist because not a lot of people have seen this film, and so I think you should go and see it because the twist is
It's
excellent.
got one of the best twist reveals ever as well.
I think so, and
So good.
I didn't guess it, and I was like, oh, that's really clever and simple. It's great. There's a scene with the oven, right? He's trying to get the kid to clean the oven all the time, and I kind of wish like the oven played more of a part in the finale because you're setting up this oven, and they forget about it. Then, if you've
Yeah, of
seen it, you
course.
know what I mean. But again, nitpicking, it's a good film, and I'd highly
There's so many unsettling scenes as well. That bit where the grandfather's just sitting there with a shotgun in his mouth.
yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many unsettling scenes in this film. I love it.
I think what's great about this film is that it doesn't feel like an M Night Shyamalan film, apart from a good twist.
No, it doesn't, to be fair. It doesn't. No,
Yeah.
anybody could have directed this film. And that's not to say that it's not good.
Yes.
But any horror director could have directed this one.
Right.
Do you want to read a few more comments, Jenks?
Yeah. You can read a few now. Hang on a second. Where are you? Now, we're not doing these very well because we don't know which film they're talking about because we're still new to this business. But thank you, Abigail. It's such an unsettling film. Um,
Incredible
incredible
film,
film.
agreed.
What a film. The end or the ending.
What a film from Jill. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Seeing the kitchen made me cringe.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah, awesome. Love this film. It's cool.
That's the visit.
Right, now we're
Another
on to
good twist.
We're on now, I believed, the last three.
Yeah,
And
I think.
so it's
No, 4. I got 4 left.
Have you? Go on.
Yeah.
Then. What's your next one then?
So my next one is Signs, and that's in 4th place now. This is a very, very solid film. It's got a great premise. It's got a great setup. Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix are fantastic in this film. And it's definitely one of his most iconic ones. It's one that people still talk about. It's got a fantastic, really iconic jump scare that's still got people talking. Every time I speak about this film, everyone always mentions that one scene where you get a glimpse of the alien in broad daylight in a kid's party. But this is a top-class film. My only downside to this film and why it's in 4th place is that it hasn't aged brilliantly. It has got some sketchy CGI, but it doesn't take away from the movie too much. This is a great movie, a fantastic horror film, and one of the scariest movies with aliens in it. And that's not to say sci-fi movies. I'm on about like an Earth-based alien movie.
Yes,
because it doesn't feel like a sci-fi movie. If you get my drift.
Yes. So just
Yes.
a comment.
Yeah, absolutely worth buying. I highly recommend The Visit. It's a class film.
So my next one is at number 3. It's 3, man. I think we might have miscounted here because I've only got 3 left. So number 3 on my list is Unbreakable. Now,
Nice.
It was a tough one. I love this film. It's such a good. This is when M Night Shyamalan is top. Some people prefer this to Sixth Sense. It's opinions. It's got a great twist, but it's a great take on superheroes. And it was 2001. This came out. Now was it 2000? 2000. Oh, I could be wrong.
No, because Sixth Sense came out in 1999 or 2000. Yeah.
No, 99. Sixth Sense. Either way,
Yeah.
it was way before the sort of massive surgence of superheroes, and he did something very different. Even like if you do something different with superheroes now, it's welcome because people are sick of them. But he did something different way before, like the MCU.
Before, yeah.
No, like 20 years before, and it's fantastic. Bruce Willis puts a top-notch performance. Really is one of his best performances of this broken man who is something missing from his life, and he doesn't realize he's a superhero. He's got this strange strength that he can't quite understand, but he's so timid that he never really has the confidence to use it. He meets this guy played by Samuel Jackson, Elijah something, I've forgotten. Elijah Glass.
Elijah Glass. Yeah, I forgot.
Well, I know, I'm stupid. But yeah, and he is like the opposite of him. He's he's crippled. He's in a walk. He's got a disease where his bones are brittle. He's had hundreds of breaks, and he's the opposite of a superhero. But he's very intelligent, and it's just a fantastic movie. It's a great twist, great scenes in it, especially when he's testing out his strength with the bench press.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And yeah, I love it. It's amazing. Yeah. What do you got then
So
next?
my third place is Split. Obviously, I
Ah.
have ranked this one in my top 3. I'm a huge fan of this movie. This was M. Night back on top form. James McAvoy pulls in one of the greatest performances in any horror movie, switching between these characters, seamless. Is that the word? Seamlessly.
See, it's hard to say when you put pressure.
It's hard for us Welsh boys to say complicated words.
Yeah. We haven't had
We're
the
basic
education.
folk, really.
Yeah.
We all grew up on farms. Right. So Split. I remember this coming out and I absolutely loved it. I've seen this movie, probably my most watched M. Night movie, because it is the easiest to watch. It's just a really good horror movie. It doesn't rely on the ending. There isn't a part in the movie that you have to get through to get to the next part. And it's just great seeing James McAvoy bounce between these characters, specifically Hedwig the kid and Patricia, the woman he plays. Oh my God, the sass he gives as Patricia is amazing. James
Yeah.
McAvoy became one of my favourite actors ever after this film, and I think M Night knocked this one out of the park. It's a
Yeah,
great film.
you had a secret crush on Patricia, didn't you? You know, is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I wanted a split poster in the house framed, but I managed to find one with just Patricia instead
Yeah,
of
well,
famous.
if you're ever going to reveal it on on our first live stream, is probably the best place to do it, isn't it?
Let me brace myself here because this is gonna rock the world.
Rock
All 14
all
people watching.
14 people. Like that scene from what's it called, the Truman Show, when he leaves,
Yeah.
watching their baths and stuff. I don't think we got
Yes,
that.
you're right, Ben. It is top notch. It's a great film.
Right, my next one, my number 2 spot is Signs.
Nice.
Now, I love this film, and you are right. The CGI is aged, but other than Terminator 2, more CGI is aged, and you have to kind of look past a lot of the
No, of course.
early. And I love this film. I think I wouldn't say it's underrated because it was a big hit, but I'd say underrated in the sense that there's a lot of people take digs at it. But
Scary Movie 3.
yeah, but they would take digs at Meet the Fockers. I love this film. I think it's unsettling. It's creepy. I love the fact that it doesn't have to be an alien movie. It could be a zombie movie. It could be a ghost movie. The same movie would happen with or without aliens. Whatever monster you wanted to put in, it would work.
I'm not sure you could kill zombies with water, though. Just saying.
Okay, maybe, but I love it, and I love the fact it's only shown from the point of view of the family and what they see
Yes.
on the news. You don't see like cuts to like the White House and anything like that. It's just what they're feeling, and you feel it with them. Especially when they start taking the
100%.
house at the end, you can hear all the footsteps outside because everything's wooden, and it's really creepy. And there's that scene when they look outside and the aliens stood on top of the barn. Really simple stuff, and I
Yeah.
kind of wish like M Night Shyamalan would just watch his first 3 films and go, right, where have I gone wrong now? Because I feel like somebody else made these films. Because I've got fallen
Yeah.
so far. I don't feel like he's capable of making a film even remotely as good as Signs. I just I
Yeah,
don't know
and
what's going on.
it's the age-long debate about one day someone has it and then they don't. But
Yeah.
it's weird because M. Night slowly comes back, or the first half of a movie he's there and then he drops off. It's not like he's completely dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, look at Argento. He's at the top of his game until he wasn't, and then it's just a steep downhill.
Yeah, and John
Similar
Carpenter.
to yeah, exactly. Like Tarantino's retiring on 10 films because
Yeah.
he thinks his last film could end up being a bad film. He doesn't want
Yeah.
to go off on a bad note. But yeah, it's a strange one.
It's because now that we're doing this list and we're coming into the top ones, you're thinking makes you feel quite sad of like, oh, we're never going to get another one of these. I just think he's gone past the point of it happening
Yes.
now, isn't it?
But someone will come along like M. Night and make films just as good as Signs, and people already have. I'm excited about Fed Alvarez and the films he's doing.
Oh,
You know,
he's great. Yes,
there's
yes, you're
plenty
right.
of directors to look forward to. But what have we got? The music sounds just make this worthwhile. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I didn't talk about how much I actually like this film when I just chose it.
Yeah.
Because we went past it. But I absolutely love this film. I'm not taking anything away from it. And I
Yes.
can look past the CGI, but it does kind of take you out of the film a little bit. But it's a great film.
Right. Have you got 2 left?
Yes, I got 2 left.
Do you know where I've cocked up? I forgot to do Trap.
Oh, you did, man. Yes, of course.
Yeah, because we've already did it. It was off my radar. So I'm just going to let the audience of 14 just remember that. Hang on. You can just decide where it goes on the list just by reading the title. Okay. I think I put it at. No one cares, but I think I put it at number 12 or something on his list. It doesn't matter. It's in the arse end of his list anyway. I didn't like it. It was better than some, but yeah, pretty crap. Anyway, sorry.
Fair enough.
So you
Right,
got
in second place, I've got Unbreakable. Now, like you said, Jenks, this is by far one of his greatest movies. I love this film. I love how moody it looks. I love the rain, the blues, Bruce Willis turns in one of his greatest performances ever. For me, it's up there with Butch Coolidge in Pulp Fiction. And again, Sam Jackson plays a fantastic villain. And what's really clever about this one, he's got that big afro, and that represents like the classic movie villains always had big brains. And that's him making everything realistic, and it's a really grounded, realistic superhero film. If you don't look into it too much, you may not even see it as a superhero film. Yes, you've got a man who's indestructible or unbreakable, and you've got a villain like Samuel Jackson. He's got the purple suit and the big hair, but it's a thriller, really, and it's a really good thriller, but it is a superhero film. And at the time, like you said, Jenks, I think this one was severely underrated. And I think with, obviously, the current climate of movies now, I think everybody's going back to this film and realizing how great it was. And seeing that cameo and split at the end, oh my God!
Yes, I think as well what he did was what he did really clever with this was that, because this was his follow up to Sixth Sense, and it was a tough act to follow. So he was smart enough to do something very different. He didn't do another ghost story. He did something very different. So you didn't have to compare it. You just had to compare.
But he's always kind of done that. Like, look at Knock at the Cabin and Trap, Signs and Unbreakable. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yes, definitely. So you got 2 left, you said?
The Mace Windu, surely.
Yeah.
Did this come out after that? Yeah, it would have. It come out after Mace
99
Windu?
thing, have you got 2 left, you say? Because I've only got one.
I've got 1 left now.
Oh, yeah, right. We're caught up
and
then.
Yes.
Right.
We both got the same one.
Yeah. My number 1 is going to be Shock. I remember that Truman Show scene now. It's going to be a repeat of that now, where everyone's dropping their food and everything. Imagine I put that picture of Wide Awake up. That comedy. I should have got that for a laugh. The big review was ruined by terrible. Sixth Sense.
Yes.
Look, we'll just both talk about this film as a normal review.
Of course.
This film is class. If you haven't seen it by now, and I said in a previous thing, it's basically this kid can see dead people, and Bruce Willis is like a child psychologist trying to help this kid who obviously everybody thinks this kid has got emotional problems because ghosts aren't real, and it's a very creepy film. Everyone puts a good performance, especially the little boy,
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette is awesome. Love her as well. But but the film is really creepy. It's quite slow. I put it on for my daughter a few months ago, and I didn't realize how slow it was. She didn't mind, but I think films now are much quicker to get to the point. But I think films were allowed to to breathe a little bit. But I said this in a previous video, but I put it on for her. She's 14, and she didn't know the twist, and she experienced the twist. And she was like, "Oh,
that's awesome!"
And I just had goosebumps. I thought, "Oh, it still lives," because I thought everyone knows this twist. It's the most famous twist ever, but it is a masterpiece. This film, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the only one now I've rewatched before doing this list. It's the one I wanted to watch, and me and my girlfriend sat down. We watched this one last night, and I haven't actually seen it in a long time, right? And I've got a bit of PTSD with this film, because I watched this one really young. What year did this come out? 1999. Yeah, how old was I? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was 6 when this came out. So maybe I watched it when I was like 9, maybe. Yeah. Didn't watch it when I was 6. And this film absolutely killed me. And watching it last night, I had seen it a couple of more times, but it has been a while. Watching it last night, I had those same feelings, and every time I knew something was coming, it was like a brace.
Yeah.
Because all those feelings just stayed the same. And what this film does well is it does take its time to build up the characters, to build up the tension. You follow this character and you follow Bruce Willis. And then when it does happen, when he reveals to Bruce Willis that he sees dead people, that's when you kind of go on this journey with him then. And what I love about it is it's got a bit of everything. And what's really special about this film is the scares are there, and it is truly terrifying in parts, but it is so heartfelt and emotional. It's got a great message, and they kind of both help each other through this journey. And obviously, with the twist at the end, I was so young when I watched this film. I didn't even know there was a twist. Maybe I just didn't even notice the ending, and it wasn't until I was older when someone mentioned it. I was like, I didn't even know that. It was just a good ghost film.
Do you know as well?
Clueless, like.
What I think is missing from his later films is really good music. Like the music in
Yeah.
this film, the piano, it's same as Unbreakable. I think he used James Horner. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And it's especially with Sixth Sense, it really gets you emotionally, and it's subtle, but it has a very distinct sound all the way through, and it's a perfect contrast to the sort of tragedy of the film and the creepiness, and it's
Oh,
perfect, you know.
it is a masterclass in filmmaking all around. The cinematography matches
Yeah.
everything, the music, the acting.
Yes.
And oh my God, Haley Joel Osment, probably one of the greatest kid actors there's ever been.
Yeah.
Like he carries so much emotion in this film. I was saying last night on rewatch, like he must have been bored on set for this film because there's nothing fun about it.
Yeah.
It was straight to business, and the emotion he shows and the interactions he has with his mother is so flipping heart
Yeah.
wrenching
And
because he calls her mama and he's like, "Are you
yeah.
mad at me, mum?" And it's so heartbreaking. But
Yeah.
the one thing I will say about this film, and it's one of my scariest scenes ever, and it's always the things that you can't see but you can hear.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where he gets invited to that party
Oh,
and he
yes.
hears something upstairs. You've got those spiral staircase, and he goes up. And then I got goosebumps now talking about it. When you can hear that voice coming from inside the cupboard shouting at him, oh my God, there is nothing scary. And then when he gets dragged and put in that cupboard and he's screaming,
Yeah. It's horrible.
it is amazing. It
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
scary. I love this
You
film.
don't need, like, if it's I love The Conjuring, but if it was Conjuring, you'd have to see some horrible monster
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, but you
because that's
didn't.
what you expect.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
and what's great about this one as well is that, again, showing how emotional this movie is, Bruce Willis kind of teaches him that, maybe these ghosts need your help. They're not there to scare you or to hurt you. Maybe they are lingering around because they need your help. And obviously,
Yes.
he helps that sick girl who comes to his house, and, he goes back to her home and
Yeah.
finds out that her mother's been poisoning her.
Yeah.
And it's just so good because he could have easily just gone down the horror route and made a scary movie, but it's just got a fantastic script. It's
I know it's
yeah,
yeah, and it's
amazing, amazing
very
twist.
hard to argue. It's very hard for people to argue that this is not the best one. I mean, some people might prefer the Unbreakable,
Yeah,
but if you're analyzing movies, this is like a perfect movie, and it has the greatest twist ever. I don't care. There's lots of
it is the
twists.
twist.
Yes, there's lots of good twists in films like Fight Club and stuff, but this is the only twist that I can think of that everything's staring you in the face. Even what happens at the start, it literally tells you at the start what's happened. You're
Well,
seeing it, you know. I
do
don't,
you
I
know
don't
when I
spot.
was yeah, of course, but do you know when I was watching it last night, uh, me being smug watching it because the twist. I was like, if I was old enough to understand films when this came out, I would have got the twist. Oh, there's so
Yeah,
many clues. Look at that. There's so many
yeah,
clues. But in reality, I probably wouldn't have. But it's
and
so,
like
it's subconsciously in your head. Like,
like we said before, people are savvy to twists now because of the Sixth Sense. So it was the perfect time. People after Sixth Sense, people are getting good at guessing twists now because we've seen so
yeah, of
many
course.
as a result of this. But yeah, this is the perfect movie. That's our list, Mr. M Night Shyamalan. I enjoyed that. Um,
Yes, it was a good one.
I planned this as best I could. I'm sure we can improve next time. But yeah,
Jenks, you did a cracking job, pal. Fair play. You
well,
did an
thank you.
awesome
I
job.
enjoyed it, and whenever we do these things, there's always room for improvement. Um, and I honestly, I had such a ball. I was a bit nervous going on, even though we were only talking about 5 people. I thought, I don't know why,
It is
but
nerve-wracking, it is,
yeah,
because it is just live, like, you do the pre-recorded videos, and to be fair, they basically are live, we don't cut out much, but
no,
you have got that cushion that you can cut things out, so, yeah, it's
yes,
a bit nerve-wracking, but I think we did a good enough job. I was gonna slate you at the end of this video, Jenks, because of your ridiculous picks and your ridiculous hot takes, but you've done a cracking job setting this one up, so I can't say
and
too much.
to be honest, I think only Glass was the one that annoyed you. The rest were relatively easy to swap, and they were quite close. Our lists were, I think, you
Yeah,
know.
but that's it's just ridiculous, Jenks, to have glass that high up. Oh my
Right.
god.
I think that's a good note to end it on. I'm really pleased that all you guys tuned in.
Yeah, thank you so
And
much, guys. Honestly, all of you.
we're going to try and do as many as we can. We're going to be aiming to do one every week. Not next week because I'm on holidays, so blown it straight away. But I really enjoyed that. And if you enjoy the videos, any of the videos, if you love horror, please subscribe, smash the like